What do you do when your tenant has so much trash outside that your insurance gets canceled? What can a landlord do about that to prevent that from happening? Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord One on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Now, this is why I advocate for landlords having strong provisions in their lease agreements that the tenants will obey all ordinances and laws, not maintain a nuisance, and they'll keep the premises in clean and sanitary format. And if we're talking about a house with a yard, that type of deal, those responsibilities should be delegated out. Whether the tenant's going to take care of the yard and keep it clean and sanitary, or the landlord's going to help with some of the yard work, that type of deal. Okay. Because having provisions that address these three issues could have prevented a landlord from just dealing with trash and stuff outside. Okay. Here's the deal. Okay. In a lot of municipalities, having like trash and junk outside the house is against the local ordinance. Okay. Many of these local ordinances state that that's a public nuisance. Okay. Because it's blight, makes the neighborhood look bad, and it may actually attract rodents and that type of deal. I had a case, war story, a couple, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We had a tenant that was keeping a bunch of junk outside, right? And the junk was attracting like rodents. And then the rodents were going into other people's houses and stuff. And this tenant thought, okay, because the rodents weren't bothering them, but the landlord was getting complaints from the whole neighborhood. Hey, the junk pile over there with food and stuff is causing all these rodents to come here. And that can be addressed, usually with a 3-day notice to perform, to cease and desist, keeping the trash and that type of deal that's causing the problem, okay, out there. You're going to want to do that fairly quickly once you get notice from any complaints and that type of deal, and investigate that yourself. If you do see that there's trash and stuff outside, you could give a 3-day notice to perform. Hopefully your lease has a provision that states that those items are a violation of the agreement, but you could possibly issue a 3-day notice to perform for nuisance, basically based on an ordinance, okay, if you didn't have a lease agreement, okay, because that could be defined as a public nuisance under your local municipality. And especially if like code enforcement or the local municipality reaches out to you and says, hey, landlord, we got a problem out here, we're going to start citing you, that type of deal, you want to act fairly quickly. Okay, I've done with a lot of situations where landlords kind of sit on their hands and hope that the problem goes away, and it doesn't. And then what happens is they possibly get fined by the local municipality. You get other neighbors, that type of deal, threatening to sue you because, it's causing, they got a public nuisance going on and so forth. You don't want to let it get that far. Okay, so landlords, don't get canceled. Your insurance canceled because your tenant's keeping junk and stuff outside, okay? If they're violating the lease or causing a nuisance, you need to act fairly quickly, okay? And if you're having this situation and you're in the Northern California area, feel free to reach out. We might be able to help you out, but put your comments, questions down below. Try to answer them to the best of my ability. Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you then. See ya.